It is the 28th day of this month of April, the last Sunday of this month. Thank you so much for joining us. We have a lot of stories that we've lined up for you, but this are the key highlights.
Tonight, Kenyans dominate in London.
It's the second fastest time in history.
Eliud Kipchoge and Bridget Kosgei win the 2019 London Marathon.
Bridget Kosgei, who comes home as the champion in 2019.
Plus, ahead of the new school term, a stern warning to students.
There's no need for you to decide to go and look for petrol. Building you are burning has not done anything to you. What are you burning it for?
Government releases CBC learning material and another warning.
And in our special tonight, the growing problem.
We started our relationship when I was in Form 1. I did not really know that the relationship can lead to being pregnant.
Teenage mothers in Homa Bay are now picking up the pieces.
After delivery, we follow up with them so that they come back to school.
Also tonight, the grueling Sayare ceremony that prepares Ilchamus boys to be Morans.
NTV Weekend Edition with Dennis Okari and Olive Burrows.
60 years old and we are only just getting warmed up. Tonight we begin the NTV Weekend Edition on a high note, a winning note. World marathon record holder Eliud Kipchoge was unbeatable once again on the streets of London. Kipchoge fended off Ethiopian competition to win the London Marathon for a fourth time in a time of 2 hours, 2 minutes and 37 seconds. It was a similar, if not a better script in the women's race where Bridget Kosgei, or as they call her in London, Kosgei, exchanged places with last year's champion Vivian Cheruiyot to emerge victorious. Cheruiyot settled for second place.
The London Marathon, Eliud Kipchoge against Mo Farah and the best of the rest.
Eliud Kipchoge continues to write his name in the annals of history as one of the best marathon runners of this generation. Every race an affirmation, as it was Sunday on the streets of London. The Olympic champion's brilliance and endurance saw him win in London for the fourth time. After fending off intense early challenge from the likes of Britain's Mo Farah and then Ethiopian's Mosinet Geremeu and Mule Wasihun in the later stages,
his running economy was something like they'd never seen before, and
Kipchoge was left with the clock once again to beat. Kipchoge smashed the course record he set back in 2016 by 1 minute and 47 seconds to cross the line in 2 hours, 2 minutes and 37 seconds. His time in London is now the second fastest in history. Podium places with Farah finishing 3 minutes behind Kipchoge in fifth. Kipchoge's stage had been set earlier by Bridget Kosgei, who added her name to a rich list of winners. The 25-year-old set a personal best time of 2 hours, 18 minutes and 20 seconds to become the youngest female winner in London. Kosgei, who finished in second place last year, ran a tactical race, running with the leading pack before breaking away after the 35-kilometer mark. Kosgei never looked back to cross the line first, ahead of the 2018 champion Vivian Cheruiyot.
But it's the 25-year-old Bridget Kosgei who comes home as the champion in 2019, and it is a new personal best as well.
Ethiopia's Rosa Dereje completed the podium places in third.
220, that is a fine effort to defend her title. No disgrace.
Gladys Cherono crossed the line in fourth place, and three-time champion Mary Keitany was fifth.
21-year-old from Ethiopia.
Brian Otwal, NTV.
All five home inside 221.
From that high note in sports to politics now, where Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka and a host of politicians under the Kieleweke movement are now proposing demonstrations in an effort to force out corrupt individuals from government. Kalonzo says the wheels of justice are turning too slow, yet Kenyans expect instant results in dealing with corrupt individuals.
The Central Organization of Trade Union organizes prayers every Sunday before Labor Day. At St. Stephen's SEK Church, the Union's Secretary General Francis Atwoli a host of trade unionists and politicians congregated under the theme Combating Corruption. Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka led the pack in suggesting some radical proposals to tame and hopefully eradicate corruption, especially in government.
Mheshimiwa Maina Commander is scared of Sudan. I am not scared. And there is real change. The world is celebrating the change.
Tuweke siku ya maandamano. Sasa mambo imetosha. Tutoke wa Kenya, tuseme huyu ndiye ameiba pesa, toka kwa ofisi. Wewe umeiba pesa, toka kwa ofisi.
Nearly every government office you go, or every department you go for services, there is always that story of unaniwachia nini.
I feel as if in this country we are not angry enough when people steal our money.
Ni uporaji imezidi katika taifa la Kenya.
The politicians differed with the president's suggested process of firing government officials only when they are arraigned, arguing that the process has become lethargic.
Sasa wanaenda mahakamani. It's like everybody is prepared. Tuende tu kwa mahakama. Shikweni tu mabilioni haidhuru. Tuende tu kwa mahakama because they will even get any type of, sometimes even get bail. Anticipatory bail. Because that process will take forever.
We do not need the judiciary. There is no law that gives a procedure of doing corruption. Why do we want to use law to retrieve back our money when they never followed the law in the first place and they are stealing the money?
Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko, who was an invited guest to the prayers, accused the politicians of insincerity in the war against corruption. Sonko slammed the speakers before him for allegedly playing 2022 politics aimed at Deputy President William Ruto.
The war on corruption should not be fought selectively. Hakuna corruption ya jana ama ya juzi ama ya kesho. Ukikuja hapa kutuambia kuhusu ufisadi na tutaendelea kupigana ufisadi, hata wewe ukiwa mfisadi utuambie.
There is no shortcut to leadership evolution and there is no shortcut to riches.
The political class also called on President Uhuru Kenyatta to be considerate of employees' pleas ahead of Labor Day. Kotu says it is pushing for a 15% increase in minimum wages in exchange for supporting the housing levy. Kennedy Muredhi, NTV.
Staying with politics, Deputy President William Ruto says he should not be considered as the ordained successor to President Uhuru Kenyatta within the Jubilee Party. Ruto says any capable politician can lead the party.
He was speaking during a church fundraising event in Molo, Nakuru, where political leaders defended their financial support to churches.
Sio lazima Ruto aongoze. Kama kutakuwa na mtu bora kuzidi Ruto, huyo tutamuunga mkono. Lakini sote tutakuwa ndani ya Jubilee.
Mheshimiwa Naibu wa Rais, nilikwambia miaka mitatu imepita. Usingojee kiti ati kwa sababu uliambiwa tafuta.
Your Excellency, even with this government, within our party, we have seen people who are inventors of evil things, even against you.
Na viongozi wote tuendelee kujenga kanisa ya Mungu. Na mwenye anaweza sema tusiende kujenga kanisa, pengine yeye si Mkristo.
A section of ODM members of parliament have scoffed at those accusing party leader Raila Odinga of killing opposition politics in Kenya by agreeing to work with President Uhuru Kenyatta.
The ODM legislators have dared their opponents to take up that role. Oko Kusa with the full story.
The members of parliament who were speaking at St. Paul's Catholic Church in Kisumu took a swipe at those claiming that the handshake had decapitated opposition politics in the country, asking them to fill up the alleged void.
So ukiona mtu akisema ati Jaluo mume wake opposition imekufa ati Raila mbona yuko huko, wewe enda huko opposition.
If they feel there is a vacuum somewhere, let them take over from there.
If your argument is that Raila is killing the opposition, we want to advise you that Raila has left a bath in the opposition, go and fill it, paddle your canoe.
They affirmed what they described as unequivocal and unrelenting support for the handshake between President Uhuru Kenyatta and opposition leader Raila Odinga, attributing it to development, peace and unity.
I love my president, I love Raila Amolo Odinga, I love the people of this country, and we are preaching peace. Finally,
to equate the handshake and building bridges with 22 politics is demeaning and short-sighted.
The MPs raised concern with the lull in the fight against corruption and called on the Director of Criminal Investigation, George Kinoti, to rekindle the fire on the anti-graft war.
We want to see handcuffs. We want to see people defending themselves in courts of law, because monies have been lost and they must be recovered to perpetuate our development agenda.
As a country, as Kenya, remove corruption. As a country, as Kenya, that will lead to equal opportunity, it will lead to peace, and we will all live together.
On the Uhuru Raila trip to China, the MPs criticized a section of the media for publishing what they termed as misleading reports about the trip.
What Raila went to do with Uhuru in China, I and my colleagues are not privy to. But when Raila comes back, he will explain to the country what exactly happened.
Huko Kusa, NTV.
Well, the political class certainly had a lot to say this Sunday, and ANC leader Musalia Mudavadi has said that the current government is taking huge loans that could eventually paralyze this and future governments.
He cautioned the government and parliament to check what he termed as unnecessary debt.
Speaking in Mwatate, Mudavadi added that corruption in government is making the problem worse.
Chunga serikali ambayo inakuja itakuwa na jukumu moja tu, kulipa the way we are going. Na hatutaki tuwe serikali ama nchi ya kulipa madeni pekee. Tunataka tuwe nchi ambayo inahakikisha wananchi wote wanapata nafasi ya kujimudu, kusomesha watoto wao, kwenda kwa hospitali na kupata dawa na kadhalika.
By 2022 the public debt itakuwa 7 trillion, ambayo itakuwa kila Mkenya mwenye hajasaliwa atakuwa akilipa 130,000. Tunataka tushukuru the China people kwa sababu wameona we are on the red tape in terms of public debt.
Schools reopened for the second term this week, and the new Education CS Professor George Magoha had given a stern warning to students. Magoha has warned students in secondary schools against indiscipline and unrest.
He blamed parents for what he termed as failing to instill discipline in their children.
He was speaking as he flagged off the distribution of learning materials to be used for the competence-based curriculum in primary schools. Zainab Ismail with the details.
I have blamed parents and I keep blaming them, because I strongly believe that discipline has to start in the house. But where it has not started in the house, I'm now directing my teachers to ensure that the board of management countrywide meet early in the new term to ensure that the students are managed gently, politely, but firmly.
CS Magoha weighed in heavily on the issue of unrest in schools and indiscipline among students, which traditionally increases during the second term.
If you have stress, talk about it. Talk to your friends. You must have a friend, either male or female. Don't talk about other issues. Just talk about your problem. Are we together? That tends to take away the stress, and you will feel better. There's no need for you to decide to go and look for petrol. Building you are burning has not done anything to you. What are you burning it for?
Found time to...
The CS also asked education officials to work closely with the Ministry of Interior and National Coordination to ensure safety in schools. Professor Magoha also said that tough measures have been put in place to curb cases of examinations cheating.
For those who think that I left the examination council, I want to make it very clear that I'm even more stronger in the council, because I superintend from a higher position. And I want to assure you that the examination process is ongoing very well, and to encourage the children and their teachers to cover the syllabus.
The Cabinet Secretary oversaw the flagging off of 12,360 textbooks to public schools for grade 1, 2 and 3. According to the CS, the pupil textbook ratio right now stands at 1 textbook for each child in grades 1 to 3. 12.75 million textbooks were already sent to schools in the first term of the year. The distribution of these textbooks will start in Nairobi, Kiambu, Nakuru, Garissa, Kajiado, Murang'a, Nyeri and Embu. The rest of the textbooks for all other counties will be delivered by 15th May 2019.
The CS has also warned schools against charging parents additional levies that do not fall under the fee structure without the permission of the ministry. Zainab Ismail, NTV.
From education, let's now point focus to matters of security, where the National Police Service has today released photographs of 3 terror suspects it says are on the run. The alert is calling on members of the public, relatives and acquaintances of the suspects to provide information on their whereabouts to aid in investigations.
The police, who did not release the names of the suspects, have urged them to surrender themselves to the authorities. The National Police Service is also urging those who suspect their relatives or friends of joining jihadi groups or having returned from countries that are known to harbor jihadists to immediately report to the nearest police station.
Designated countries known to harbor jihadists include Somalia, Libya, Iraq, Yemen, Afghanistan and Syria.
Two people drowned and 6 others were rescued after a failed attempt to cross River Mwewe in Kitui Central.
The group of 8 were traveling to a family event in Mosa where their car plunged into the flood waters.
The infamous River Mwewe, located in Kitui Central, is known for how dangerous it gets when it rains. Late Saturday, it claimed 2 lives. A man and his 9-year-old daughter drowned when trying to cross the river. Along with 6 other people, they were on their way to attend a family event. Unknown to the driver that the river was impassable, the vehicle they were in failed to cross the river safely. Though the 2 died, 6 others were rescued by the Kitui County Emergency Team. Other commuters spent a better part of their day trekking long distances, and others risked their lives trying to cross the river as their vehicles got stuck in the mud. Anita Nkonge, NTV.
We're going on a short break, and when we come back, we'll be having very many more stories. Teens with Kids Part 2 is going to be coming up.
Up ahead, Rose Wangwe tells you how Homa Bay is ensuring teen mothers do not lose out. Thank you for staying with the NTV Weekend Edition. It is not easy to become a mother when you're merely more than a child yourself. Feelings of grief, guilt, regret, and shame are complicated by the fact that most teen mothers end up breaking relationships with their parents or other relatives.
Most teen mothers are also shy about returning to schools due to stigma, and all is not lost. In Homa Bay County, one program, Jua or Jelimishe Uzazi na Afya, has been supporting teenage mothers to rebuild a better life. The model consists of home visits and mentoring programs for pregnant adolescents to decrease stigma and discrimination and encourage them to return to school. And as NTV's Rose Wangoi reports, more than 100 teen mothers have returned to school.
"17-year-old Jackie, not her real name, never expected to be a mother at the age of 15. She was unprepared and clueless about how best to stay healthy for herself and her baby. Jackie has a 2-year-old son.
I was in a relationship with this man and I didn't know that I can get pregnant because I didn't know anything about pregnancy. Then I was just thinking that it's just a normal thing to have sex. Sikujua iko na consequences. When I got pregnant, the father of my child was in Form 4. And then when I told him about it, alinitumia tu pesa when I delivered the baby. He does not take care of the baby. I decided to go and stay with my grandma at Kosele until I deliver. I felt so ashamed. My father said I disappointed him. He didn't want to take me back to school.
Nilipata hasira kubwa sana. Niliamua mambo mingi sana ati aende kwa bwana yake ile nilimpe mimba waizi kivyao, hata kama atapata muizi, hata kama anapata mtu ambao iko namna gani akwenda akae nayo.
My mother just said it was just an accident.
When Nancy, not her real name, got pregnant at 15, she was in Form 1 and had no idea what motherhood entails. The estranged father of her child, who is a school teacher, disappeared, leaving her nursing a pregnancy, a broken heart, and an uncertain future. Nancy is an orphan and has a 2-year-old son.
We started our relationship when I was in Form 1. I did not really know that the relationship can lead to being pregnant. When I found out that I was pregnant, when the lab technician told me the test, at first I was scared, but she told
me. For the young girl from Kendo Bay in Homa Bay County, it was a form of teenage rebellion, she recalls. The pregnancy disrupted her education. Afraid, alone, and depressed, she remembers what a difficult situation it was.
I realized that I was pregnant. And I came and told my mom that I want to abort. And she told me that there is no reason for aborting.
Badala ya kuenda shule, alienda kombo akashika mimba. Mimi nilikuwa na hasira sana, nilikasirika sana. Sitaki hata kumwona yeye kwa macho yangu. Sasa aliona kama mamake alikuwa na huzuni, hataki kumwona yeye, ameamua kutoroka. Anaenda sijui alienda wapi. Mimi nilinyamaza, nilitulia tu. Kwa muda mchache nilisikia anaishi hapa Kindu na kijana fulani, mimi sijui hiyo kijana. Akikaa huko kwa miezi miwili hivi, akazaa na akarudi na mtoto. Nilikaribisha mtoto wangu na mjukuu.
Kuteleza sio kuanguka. I've learned a lesson that having a boyfriend is just a waste of time. So I should work hard to achieve my goal, so that in future I should live a better life and I should support my child. Nilizaa, I didn't know that I could go back to school because my mom alishakataa ati atanipeleka shuleni. I was stressed when my baby was young. When the child was growing, I just give up. She could cry a lot at night that I could not sleep.
Teen mothers feel neglected and shunned by sometimes parents and the society in general, as they are stigmatized and not supported to continue with their schooling. A situation that paints a bleak future for them and their babies. The latest Kenya Demographic Health Survey says Narok County has the highest burden of teenage pregnancies and motherhood in Kenya. Homa Bay County ranks second with a prevalence of 33%, followed by West Pokot at 29%, Tana River and Nyamira at 28% respectively.
We have a lot of challenge of girls getting pregnant. We encourage them to remain chaste until they get married. But some of them, because of peer pressure, especially when they are economically challenged, they have fallen prey to people who have made them pregnant.
Some of the girls are also getting pregnant by their own peers, especially because most of them are in mixed secondary schools.
Driven by these overwhelming numbers in Homa Bay County, your project, which stands for Jielimishe, Uzazi and Afya, was launched in July 2017. The 2-year program is part of AIDS-Free project funded by PEPFAR through USAID and implemented by Elizabeth Glaser Pediatric AIDS Foundation, EGPAF. The program works with pregnant adolescents, young mothers and their infants to connect them to services and help the girls remain in or return to school.
The notion is a girl who gets pregnant or to either get married or be sent away from home by the parents. So first of all, we have to change the attitudes of the parents. The project, therefore, works within a community setting by training a number of individuals called the home visiting teams, who then are assigned to mentor the girl while also understanding the cultural context. So we have men and women who work with the parents to create a supportive household for the adolescent when they're either pregnant or they have a child.
Okari.
The facilitators go door to door educating the young girls on the importance of giving birth with a skilled provider at a health facility.
Because we have encountered some adolescents who are already pregnant and they don't know this issue of going to NC clinic. So we have to convince them, to advise them, to counsel them. We are advising the adolescent on how to take care of the infant, how to handle the baby, how to prepare their feeds, how to check their health-wise, their milestones. We also teach them how to breastfeed the baby for 6 months before any complementary feeding.
Other components of the project include access to adolescent-friendly sexual reproductive health services and basic life skills and parenting training to increase young mothers' knowledge and provide them the necessary skills they require to make better life choices. For the girls who develop strained relationships with their parents, facilitators play a role in reconciling the families.
Kwanza tulipokuja hapa tulikuta kama baba anamgombesha mama sana. Walikuwa wasikizani, baba akisema mama hakulinda mtoto wake sawa sawa. Aliwacha mtoto anatembea ovyo mpaka akapata mimba. Kwa hivyo tuliwaongelesha kando kando mpaka tukaja tukajumulisa hawa pamoja. Ikawa sasa mzee anaweza tukaribisha.
Walinifundisha mambo mingi sana. Mpaka nimesikia roho yangu ilitulia, mpaka wamenieleza. Yaani kwa mtoto apate mimba sio mwisho ya maisha.
They also liaise with parents and when necessary with teachers to facilitate readmission to school. Today, Jackie, Nancy and Rhoda are back to school. The tales of despair and tribulations have transformed to those of hope. For For Jackie, the opportunity to continue her education has made a huge impact and prevents what potentially could have been a complete end to her schooling.
I'm happy to be back in school. I work hard so I can achieve my goals in future.
Kwa wiki moja mimi siku moja lazima niende mahali anasoma. Nataka kumonitor vile anaendelea na shule. Na naona natia bidii kusinda wakati ile kama yeye pia license danger.
Nancy too has gotten her life back on track. She has resumed her studies and is now in Form 2.
I was given a lot of mentorship, counseling. Now I'm very happy being in school. I would like to be a journalist one day.
Winjo ma an be ayene ber konyalo somo to ber mondo mi ajole mondo mi osom.
For Rhoda, motherhood does not stand in the way of her education. She is dedicated to her studies and has strong ambitions to take her education to the highest level.
If I finish my school and I want to be an accountant and I'm working hard.
The Back to School program has brought hope to these young mothers who had given up on chances of ever going back to school by giving them tools necessary to make positive life choices. But support from family and the school is extremely important.
We kind of adjusted the school program to enable the teenage students to come to school. So they come to school a little bit late, by 7:30. That will find when already they have taken care of their babies.
Once we find that the girl is pregnant, we call them and talk to them so that they accept that state. Having made that mistake, we give them an opportunity to go through school until the time they are ready to go and deliver. After delivery, we follow up with them so that they come back to school to continue with education.
So far, we've supported about 384 girls who have gone through the whole scope of our programs. That's a number that have consistently gotten to know their HIV status. Those who are negative have continued. Those who enrolled into the program when they are HIV positive, we've ensured they are actually having about 95% viral suppression. So those who are on treatment are actually responding very well to the treatment.
And where it might look easy returning to school after delivery at a tender age, juggling motherhood and school requires extraordinary emotional and mental fortitude.
On the feeding him, this will force me to wake up in the morning also, prepare for him his food, then I go to school and leave the food ready for my mom to give.
Finishing school increases a girl's future earning potential, which can mean a better life for both her and her child. For the girls, the chance to go back to school marks a positive change from the past. The young girls have a newfound confidence. Rozongoi, NTV, Homa Bay.
Let's sample some feedback on that story. The hashtag is Teens with Kids. We have the dreamer who says the child of a teen mother is very likely to live in poverty because of its mother's lack of financial resources. Essentially, the birth of this child becomes the beginning of a perpetual cycle in many cases. Prudence says the young moms shouldn't be stigmatized, but rather it should be a learning experience. After a while, the family should help them go back to school and rebuild their lives. All is not lost. Share your thoughts with us on NTV Kenya using the hashtag Teens with Kids. Now, coming up, the elaborate grueling Ilchamus initiation ceremony right after this break.
Naitwa Duncan Irongo Kemani. Mimi ni milionea na nimeshinda milioni 1. Asante, Mungu awabariki.
Is Kenya's brightest science student in your school? Give him or her a shot at a bright future. To switch a future, visit www.interswitchspark.com and register your best 6 science students in Form 3 for a chance to win university scholarships worth 2.5 million Kenya shillings and many more prizes.
Registration is free and closes on Sunday, 12th May 2019, ahead of the national qualifying test across centers in Kenya on Saturday, 18th May 2019.
For more information, visit www.interswitchspark.com. Interswitch Spark National Science Competition Kenya 1.0 is run in partnership with UNESCO and the Ministry of Education,
with media support from Nation Media Group. Powered by Interswitch, transaction solutions you can depend on.
Sensitivity is a short, sharp pain that people experience when they have something hot or cold getting to the nerve of the tooth, causing that discomfort. If the sensitivity is left alone, it may get worse. Dentists recommend Sensodyne to their patients. It's able to get inside the tooth and calm the nerve of the tooth down, and the proof's in the results. It works.
Je, maumivu ya kichwa na kukosesha amani? Kaluma Strong hutuliza maumivu ya kichwa, maumivu ya mwili na hata huondoa joto jingi mwilini. Kaluma Strong ina aspirin kama kiungo. Maumivu yakizidi, muone daktari.
Dakika mwisho, kipindi cha lala salama. Kama anapigwa mbele, anapiga kifuani, anateremsha chini, kuchota kulia. Now, defender anamtendea dhambi kwenye eneo la hatari. Masalale, hii ni penalty. Penalty inakwenda kuchongwa hii. Anamwangalia goalkeeper machoni. Anaangalia kando. Anaupiga mpira. Ameficha kweli kweli.
Karibu betini.
Masai Technical Institute Kajiado is a government institution that offers certificate and diplomas in engineering courses, building, civil, plumbing, mechanical, automotive, food and beverage. Business courses are business management, supplies management, human resource, community development, ICT and many more. May KUCCPS intakes in progress. Masai Technical Training Institute Kajiado, committed to providing flexible, quality business and engineering courses.
Dunda Majuu na Coke Studio. Buy and enjoy a Coke. Coke without sugar. Fanta, Sprite, Crest or Stony. SMS the code under the crown to 40111 and you could win. Prizes include an all-expenses paid trip to the Super Duper Music Festival in Santorini, Greece. Plus hi-fi systems, mobile phones, airtime, hoodies, t-shirts and more. Enjoy great prizes and great music with Coke Studio. Terms and conditions apply.
I love this. It's just perfect. These are what my baby would need the most. For gifts that will be cherished, give her a Cousins Baby gift pack.
Introducing the Cousins Baby Moments campaign. All you have to do is share with us a beautiful, creative, and memorable picture of your baby and stand a chance to win cash and other prizes. Visit Cousins Baby East Africa on Facebook for more details. Terms and conditions apply.
Did you know that omega-3 and vitamin D have benefits for our bodies? Try 7C's cod liver oil. The liquid fuel capsule contains omega-3 to support heart, brain, and vision, and vitamin D to support strong bones and the immune system. Try 7C's today.
Welcome to the Kitale National Polytechnic, an institution of excellence in management, technological training, and research for global competitiveness. We offer quality and relevant technical, entrepreneurial, and management training in business studies, agriculture, liberal studies, building and civil engineering, maths and applied sciences, mechanical and automotive engineering, electrical and electronic engineering, computer and information technology, and hospitality management. Enrollment now on for May and September 2019 intakes. Kitale National Polytechnic, empowering students through education.